We've got to talk about car washes because this is the hottest topic in private equity right now. And it's an example of everything that is happening that is wrong with the industry. The biggest car washes in the world are those super fast tunnels, and they cost about $7 million to build. Then you get about 500 or $600,000 each per year in EBITDA. That's why people think that they're worth, I don't know, 15x on the private side, maybe, 11 to 15x on the private side. The thing is, that is not including depreciation. Again, it costs $7.5 million. That is depreciated away in 10 years. So the real earnings are essentially zero. The free cash flow, the maintenance capex on the capital that you put to work, it's incinerated away. And it gets worse. There's something called in-bay car washes. And for $500,000, you can get $150,000 of EBITDA. Now, private equity guys don't like the in-bay car washes. Why? Because they cannot put significant capital to work to get a yield and return in order to flip it in the future. The thing is, if you went right next to one of those turbo tunnel car washes and you cut them in half in price, remember, you can't wash as many cars as them, but per car, if you went right next to them and you said, okay, I'm going to spend $500,000, I'm going to make $150,000 of EBITDA, what happens to their EBITDA? Remember, this EBITDA is fake. What they do is this trick where they actually sell some locations so that they take the rent above the EBITDA line. So the EBITDA actually looks better. And then you have 100% bonus appreciation. That's why MCW is now being taken private. But that depreciation is real against the earnings. So these guys are talking in EBITDA and just completely ignoring depreciation and amortization. They have to put money to work. They're happy to put money to work because they have so much money from pensions. The car wash at the end of the day is a capital incinerator. And this is also a no-mo business. That's why KKR owns it. Who else? Golden Gate owns a car wash. There's all these private equity companies with these massive car washes because it used to be that these were cash cows. But the problem is that they're trying to put more and more money and it's getting more and more competitive. And you and I can just go up to every single one of these MCWs, magic car washes, and go, okay, well, we'll spend $500,000, make $150,000 of EBITDA. We'll undercut that. People will see the options. Oh, you can ride through the tunnel and pay 2 times as much, or you could come to us, pay half as much, and your car just gets clean. Maybe you wait 5 minutes longer, but you might have to wait in the line there anyway. These guys are talking in platforms. So when you have enough of one thing, for some reason, it's worth more. The per site growth of these companies is zero. There's not more cars on the road. There's not more people in society. People aren't having more cars. There's no growth. So when you are talking about EBITDA trading 12 to 15 times, remember the PE ratios are not like you're talking, 20 to 30 times, right? That means with no growth, remember there's a cost of capital, there's also an inflation. Capital today is just not worth, is worth more than capital in the future. You're waiting 15 years to get your money back. Do you understand the economics of this? Like this is on the top of my head math. If you bought 10 car washes that were in bay and put them next to every single MCW, or all of the KKR car washes, you'd spend $5 million. In year one, you would get $1.5 million of EBITDA. Do you see the capital you spend to the EBITDA you get? You don't have to spend all that much money in this magic carpet ride for your car. That's ridiculous. Then, what do you go to the private equity guys and say? Hey, listen, I'll sell all my car washes to you. I'll sell you my 10 car washes. Why don't you pay me 7 times? So you walk away after 1 year with $150,000, and then you multiply that by 7, and you get 10 point something. Per car wash it's 1 point something. You're talking about like 10.3, 10.5 or something $1 million for the $5 million you spent. So you doubled your money. You de-risked in the first year. You got 1 million back on the 5 million you spent, and then you sold it for 10 million. Do you understand how stupid that is? You can multiply that through to HVAC. You can multiply that to dental practices, and I guess like each component has, well, you know, you got to train someone to install an HVAC system. It's like, okay, you know, how many of these PE guys have ever worked construction? Those guys can put a screw and wrench in anything. You can pick a guy off the road and teach him how to install an HVAC system. If you work in HVAC, I don't mean to simplify it that much, but you know what I mean. Like, you guys hire people all the time. You make them in 2 years, they're able to do pretty well. It's not like being a certified plumber or electrician. Like, you know, HVAC is a little different, and you might have a shortage of certified plumbers and electricians. Dentists, you know, you got to go to dentist school. Okay, but do you understand, like, the math doesn't make sense? I could look through every single one of these industries. I'm curious if you guys have any ideas of what I should look at. You know, this is back of the napkin math on car washes. And again, the biggest private equity companies in the world are putting this, you know, putting billions into this. In fact, MCW just got taken private for $3.1 billion because private equity companies are like, ooh, we can lever this up and we can flip it in 5 years. This is a bubble. Do you understand that? We can talk about the housing market. We can talk about VC. We can talk about private credit. This is the best part. This is the best part, actually. So they're going to say that that's 40% LTV. So you take the EBITDA, like, let's just say for, you know, the competitor, where you spent 5 million, you sold it for 7 times EBITDA of 7 times the 1.5 million, and you got $10 million from it. Then they will slap $4 million of debt on it, and they'll say 40% LTV. That's safe. It's 40% LTV. It's worth 10. We put $4 million of debt on it to increase our returns. It's levered returns. That $4 million on those car washes, how much did you put in the equipment? $5 million, right? But it's been depreciated a year. So that $5 million is only worth $4.5 million on the balance sheet. You know, some of those conveyor belts probably need to be replaced every year, every 2 years. What would the liquidation value of that $4.5 million of balance sheet value be? Now, expand this. What if this happened all at the same time? Well, let's just say that there was a car wash bubble. Who would be a buyer for used car wash machines? The in-bay or the $7 million super tunnels? It would be a 50% knockoff. Do you guys understand that when they say senior secured debt, it's like, okay, like, what's it secured by? Because if you put $4 million on debt on a business you say is worth 10, but somebody just built a year ago for 5, and then you have to liquidate those assets, you know, the improvements to the property, you don't own the property, you lease it. The improvements to the property, you can't just take it out of the ground and take it with you. Maybe you could sell some components for that. You'd be lucky to get 50%. So on those senior secured loans that Ares and these guys are saying are safer than investment grade corporates, you're going to take a 50% haircut. When's the last time you took a 50% haircut on an IG bond? I rest my case.